McDaniel is the peak definition of a rhino. So can you imagine the meltdown that MSNBC talent, and I use talent loosely, would be having if this was somebody that was a legit conservative, or if this was somebody in Trump's inner circle, or if this was a Trump family member? I mean, they would spontaneously combust. But also at the end of the day, Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid, anybody else, Lawrence O'Donnell, you're not in charge of the personnel that gets on the network.
Agreed.
I mean, at the end of the day, and I'll just like localize this to our station. If Greg Stocker hires Bob Smith to do a show on this station, my opinion on Bob Smith being hired to do a show is completely irrelevant. I'm not asked about it. I have no say in it. I have no stroke. I have no sway. I am an independent contractor in many regards, and this is the way I've always viewed talent and show hosts. You know, yes, we want our teammates to do well. I root for Dawn to kick ass. I root for Dom to be great, Rich to be great, because when we're all great, it makes everything better for the station. But I'm only I can only worry about 6A to 10A. The rest of it is none of my business, none of my concern. So these pompous buttheads on television are like, oh, yeah, we do not condone what the boss. If I was the boss, I swear to God, I don't care if this person's making $15 million a year. I would call them in and be like, the next time you question my hiring decisions on this network will be your last. Probably easier said than done because there's guaranteed contracts and lawyers and payouts. But that would be my speech.
You've obviously never run a company.
That would be my speech. And that's why I'm not in management.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is on full display. The left-wing media and NBC News, look at what they're doing, how they're losing their minds over a conservative woman. So it's not just conservatives, it's conservative. They have this thing for conservative women that they go crazy over.
I don't even know that she's conservative, though.
No, she is. She's a Romney.
Okay.
She definitely is, so so their whole narrative is that anybody who worked for the RNC, the Republican Party, is a danger to democracy. Who's the biggest danger to democracy? Trump, the Republicans, but especially women, conservative women. They hate, they despise. And so this goes against their narrative of the fact that the RNC, the Republicans, are this danger to democracy. She's a political strategist. I mean, I saw that Nicole Wallace, who's a total loser and failure, couldn't even run the campaign of of somebody who was considered a war hero, McCain, and a famous senator, and just was a disaster. And then said she didn't even vote for him, what a total loser. But Nicole Wallace, I mean, so I guess she really never was a Republican. What are you and that Schmidt, whatever. But Ronna Romney, what is she? She's a political strategist. That's it.
So they welcome in Chris Christie, I would presume.
ABC.
I would imagine Mike Pence would not face any pushback. I'm surprised, honestly, that Rona McDaniel is getting pushback. So basically, there are some Republicans that would, quote, be accepted as a new acquisition in mainstream media. But if you have any remote loyalty or tie to Trump, it is like hiring a pickpocket.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, she's a Romney. And so she's from a famous, very, conservative American family, but also because she won't denounce Trump. So I think it's the Trump factor.
Okay.
It's even though who knows, like she may be a little bit of a never, we don't really know, but she has never come out and said, I hate Trump, I'm against Trump, which Chris Christie has. He's doubled down on that. And Nicole Wallace, what a loser. I mean, she pretty much hates all Republicans. She's a disgrace, which is why she has to work for NBC cable that she works for, because she could never get any consulting, as a strategist. She failed.
So
probably one of the worst political failures ever.
Just think about how petty MSNBC is. Rachel Maddow with editorial, look, it's her show, but editorial control of, we are not going to carry Donald Trump live because we can't fact check him in real time. We also don't want Ronna McDaniel to be employed by NBC. And also, we are going to throw temper tantrums like Tristan Snell did over the fact that Trump was able to utilize his right to appeal and then get a lesser judgment in his favor. Like, they don't even try to be remotely objective. They're nothing more than just, fanboys for the left. Yeah. I mean, have a modicum of respect. I mean, I try to I'm a Trump supporter and voter, but I try to present things in a objective way and call balls and strikes. These people, their obsession and hatred for the word, I'm not even going to say the man or the family, just the word Trump brings out such rage.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
But it's even, I think it's super, for whatever reason, it's supersized when it's a conservative woman, and she's from a big Republican family. I mean, the Romneys, right? And her going back to her grandfather, George Romney, etc. So she is somebody who, who's despised, but she's a threat to democracy. That's because she did not denounce Trump.
Right.
And remember, she met with Trump, and on his advice, then she graciously stepped down and was all nicey with the RNC, but she never denounced Trump, to my knowledge.
Right.
So that's the problem. If she came out and said, "Oh, I stepped down because I'm anti-MAGA or I hate Trump," if she did that, then welcome in. They'd welcome her in.
You are 100% right.
Yep.
You are ding 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 ding. You are 100% right.
Yep.
It's the fact that she's not she's not at the cool kids table for Republicans, so she does not get a seat at the table.
So who's in the cult? They say it's a cult. Who's in the cult?
Yeah.
So unless she denounces and bows to them, these high overpaid, big mouth, vapid individuals.
Let me just
seriously.
Let me just say to you, Dawn Stensland, I am 100% on point with what you're saying. However, I will say this too about Rona McDaniel. I believe it's a little hypocritical to yell about the mainstream media and the evil left-wing media and then take a paycheck from it.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
One more time here.
Except I'll say this: everybody does it. Everybody.
Does that make it right though? Then don't sit here and bitch and complain about the mainstream media and how they're the enemy of the people if you're going to take a paycheck from
Just
them.
goes to show you that they play the game on both sides of the fence.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think from her standpoint, she probably felt, I mean, first of all, I'm sure they pay her well. But on the other point of it, I will say, at least she, as somebody who so far is not a never Trumper, she's somebody who can add a voice of here's what conservatives, she can represent what a conservative would think in her mind. I mean, I don't know her. I've not met her, so I can't read into it too much. But I think that's probably, her mindset on that. They just don't want that. The only person who they'll allow with an R behind their name will bow to their cult, which is they hate Trump.
One more had to get in on the action here. Larry, stop the hammering.
Lawrence O'Donnell.
Stop the hammering!
He also had to weigh in on Rona McDaniel joining NBC News, and this is what he said. This is cut 15. Phil, go.
I would never interview Rona McDaniel as an expert on Republican campaigns the way I frequently interview my longtime friend Stuart Stevens, who ran her uncle Mitt Romney's presidential campaign. MSNBC will not use Rona McDaniel as a political analyst, but I do have a few questions for her whenever she might want to come on this program.
Stop
and I'll make
the
it easy.
hammering!
I'll tell her the questions ahead of time.
Stop
My first
the
question
hammering!
would be, why did you change your name for Donald Trump? Before Trump ran for president, her name was Rona Romney McDaniel. How does that feel? To change your name to curry favor with a madman because he doesn't like your uncle. How did you explain that to your kids? What lesson did your kids learn from that? And I mention
well, why don't you ask her to get you a cup of coffee too?
Kids,
he sounds like such a
and
sexist.
that she's a mother whenever she is speaking publicly. And then I would ask her about everything she did to try to help Donald Trump overthrow the election that she yesterday decided to say for the very first time 4 years late that Joe Biden won fair and square. There is an easy way to avoid the controversy NBC News has stumbled into. Don't hire anyone close to the crimes.
Oh, you know, it's really a joke as a journalist there to say, I will never interview Rona McDaniel, but I will interview my friend who he was alluding to. That's not journalism. You don't yuck it up with softball, lobbed up questions for your friend or your buddy. The point of interviewing is to gain insight and access so that you can present a different viewpoint to your audience. You are indebted to your audience. As a journalist or a talk show host, the number one priority is to give your audience what they are seeking. That is the number one thing in my view. And that means interviewing people you don't like, that you disagree with, that have altering viewpoints. What a little weasel sitting there lecturing from his pulpit.
And so demeaning, like, well, what are your children? What are you talking about, her children?
Yeah.
If a woman decides to change her name, it's none of your dang business.
Yeah.
Big Frankenstein-looking dude.
April Fool's
Stop the hammering!
April Fool's is coming up. How great would it be if they just trolled us and NBC announced they're hiring Tucker Carlson?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I love that idea.
Joy Reid's Trump hair would fall off of her head.
It's unbelievable to me that I've never seen this level of reaction.
It's a media boycott to
it.
And in addition to their network.
Yeah. By the way, welcome to everybody who just joined the Odyssey app. AUDCY. Please download it. If you're new to the Odyssey app, please hit the follow button on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I think we're working on getting the stream back up. I have no idea, but
what do you think goes back up first, the stream or the bridge in Baltimore?
Oh no, that's
I'm just wondering.
Come on, that's not right. Jill Biden spoke yesterday at a human rights event.
My wife's a Philly girl.
And she compared banning sexually explicit content in elementary schools to Nazi Germany during World War II.
Yeah, it's on par.
This is cut 16, Phil, go.
History teaches us that democracies don't disappear overnight. They disappear slowly, subtly, silently. A book ban, a court decision, a don't say gay law.
Not in the bill.
Before World War II, I'm told, Berlin was the center of LGBTQ culture in Europe. One group of people loses their rights, and then another, and then another. Until one morning you wake up and you no longer live in a democracy.
There you go.
Yeah, factually incorrect. All the mainstream media buzzwords like the don't say gay bill. Again, removing X-rated material from the access of minors. I have no problem with that if you want to put that in a adults-only section of a library, so to speak. But comparing it to Nazi Germany, I mean, we're going to compare taking a few books of smut. By the way, underrated, underused word, smut. I was a big fan of the word smut back in the day when that was in our vernacular. Comparing that to 6 million people being exterminated. Really, Dr. Jill, that's what you got? Stop.
By the way, back up on YouTube.
Hey!
Good work, Phil. Good work, Anthony. Thank you very much. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. My OCD is kicking in because we had like 400 people watching us, and now we have, a lot less. So, like, everybody who was on...
Let's ramp it back up.
The YouTube stream, please go back there. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. We said earlier, P. Diddy's home, I believe 3 homes were raided, right?
By the way, what's he going by these days? I was told he dropped the P. And
he's just Diddy? Diddy.
But I've been out of the rap game for 25 years.
Diddler. Allegedly.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Homeland Security raided his house for apparent sex trafficking charges that were brought. He has a home in Los Angeles, Miami, New York, I'm not sure which home this was. I think this might be his Los Angeles home. But this is the news report as it was happening, because there were choppers all over. They were following his private jet. Nick mentioned that earlier as well.
Was Al Cowling seen anywhere?
Yeah, it was like the OJ chase. This is cut 8. Phil, go.
Holmes, the rapper and music executive, perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation.
Look at that home.
Shots of a few
Oh
people
my
coming
God.
out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30 different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats.
Look at
on
that guy.
scene
He's
here.
coming
This
out
just all
backwards.
Wow.
unfolded, Sandra, I would say less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up. So we're just down the hill. If you look up the street where Tony is right now to the right, you'll see one of those Bearcats and law enforcement. And on the other side of those bushes, basically, is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment. And the home, in particular, is registered not only to Bad Boy Films, but to one of P. Diddy's daughters.
They are heavily armed, and they've been very tactful, would probably be the best word to use, as they made entry into this home this afternoon. We actually watched them as they made their way through one of these side gates, and as soon as they got inside the home, one of the first things they did was made their way into this garage that you see is open right there. Now, they did take a couple people into custody. We witnessed that. Now, are they under arrest? Are they just being asked about what they know? That I can't answer, but I can tell you there's 3 people right there that were taken into custody, were inside that home at the time of the raid.
We did.
There you go.
I will tell you that, and this is a problem of having a chopper overhead. The 3 individuals are his sons.
Oh boy.
Who they simply were securing, which is protocol. They usually will secure family members away from the search area. They were never arrested. They were never really in custody per se. They just secured them away from the search area. And so that's unfortunate that they were shown on camera.
Yeah.
Because these are his sons and they have nothing, reportedly nothing to do with this. This stems from a complaint. Here's what I don't understand. That there was last December, there was a complaint filed against Combs by a Canadian woman, ID'd only as Jane Doe. She claims she was sex trafficked as well as gang raped back in 2003.
Yeah.
When she was 17 and an 11th grade high school student.
I thought I read that there were 4 Jane Does and 1 Jane. I don't know, what's the Jane male?
John Doe.
John Doe.
John Doe.
Yeah.
And that Cuba Gooding Jr. was named apparently
Yeah.
as well.
There's been a lot of rumblings and just chatter that P. Diddy's a lot like R. Kelly. If that's true, he's
Show
toast.
me the 15-year-old.
He is done.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, when Homeland Security is showing up, they probably got you, right? Like they just, they don't go there and swing and miss and get it wrong. My only question is he like the biggest alleged violator, or is he the fall guy here? I said earlier in the 6 o'clock hour, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy ends up being like Epstein, honestly, because I don't think it stops with people like him. I think there's a lot of sick people involved in this, in the Hollywood elite circle.
I would just wonder why now. In other words, the one woman from Canada, this happened 21 years ago. There was another complaint that was made last fall by his girlfriend, his former girlfriend, Cassie, who filed a lawsuit accusing him, claiming that one goes back to when she was younger.
Yeah.
So it seems that some of these are stemming from decades ago. So why now?
Well, that's the question I always have. And I try to just say, hey, let the facts play out. But I always wonder the motive. And I always like to kind of qualify what I'm about to say by saying, like, I don't know how a female thinks or operates, especially one that had to go through what could very well be the most traumatic thing of your life. But I'll just ask you, Dawn, and think about this as well with, like, the E. Jean Carroll case. What is it with females? And I'm legitimately asking. I'm not trying to sound like I'm sexist or anything like that. What leads to you waiting 10, 15, 20 years to come forward with a claim? I get it. Some people might not believe you. You don't want to be labeled. But like after that, like, is it just how do you process the trauma? Like, I would just genuinely like to know, because if it was me personally, I would just report it right away. I mean, first of all, it's disgusting. Secondly, it's illegal. And 3, I would want to have closure as soon as possible. I don't know how people wait 15, 20 years to come forward with this.
Well, and the problem is in a political year, when something comes out and it's in a political year, then it feels like it's political. And so I feel for we don't know, that's just it. And so for somebody to come out and when there's a Supreme Court justice, let's say, and say, oh, this person, when we were both teenagers, which it would have been a juvenile case, their names wouldn't have been released anyway. In that case with Kavanaugh and now with E. Jean Carroll, I think the tragedy of this is they make headlines and then you have people saying, well, I don't believe this individual. I don't believe this individual because I believe it's political, and because they can't remember even the exact day, and you have a writer and that sort of thing. And so I don't have the answer for you except to say that if these people can be proved as liars or doing something political or for monetary, then they should face criminal prosecution, because we have real victims every single day. What is it, every 8 minutes?
Yeah.
And so that's a disgrace to those real victims.
Yep, it's well said.
By the way, if you're listening right now on the Odyssey app, the YouTube stream is back up, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT, if you want to check that out.
All right, that'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 1. We'll come back, wrap up the 8 o'clock hour. Racism, not a factor in pay when it comes to being a cast member of Ghostbusters. We'll get to that story when we continue, but first a word from my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Recently, we dropped the debut episode of Kayal Pool Karaoke just about 6 weeks ago with our first guest, Patrick Murphy, and we filmed that episode in the bad boy known as the 2024 Honda Pilot Trail Sport, which features a 7-mode drive system, Trail Watch multi-camera view, 18-inch alloy wheels, and wireless Apple CarPlay. So you have all the technology and all the plugins for the kids, but also how about third row seating for that growing, expanding family? They've got you covered. And you can check out the Honda Pilot and all their variations of the SUV at one of the 5 Piazza Honda locations in Philadelphia, Pottstown, Reading, Springfield, and Langhorne, or in one convenient destination. Check it out right now, PiazzaAutoGroup.com.
How's that bracket doing? Well, you can say goodbye to your busted brackets because FanDuel, in partnership with the Valley Forge Casino, lets you bet on every game of the tournament. That's right. Even if your bracket is busted, like a lot of people's are, you can bet on each game of the tournament and win money. Whether you're betting on big upsets or a 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. I love the FanDuel app. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Don't let a busted bracket stop you from enjoying and betting on the college basketball tournament. I have to be careful what I say here. Just visit FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg and bet on college hoops until they cut down the net. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, President PA, first online, real money wager only, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hi, this is Don Giordano. Are you looking for a way to boost energy, support your heart, and age with grace? Well, it's time to check out Oracene from Rescue Natural Supplements. Oracene provides essentials for our body's need to naturally combat fatigue and increase stamina without the high sugar, caffeine, and unhealthy ingredients common in superficial energy sources. Plus, Rescue Oracene supports healthy blood pressure and cardio function too. And now for a limited time, our listeners can take advantage of a special buy one, get one free on Rescue Oracene. Just use the code FUEL when ordering to get this exclusive deal. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code FUEL online at res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Remember the code FUEL, F-U-E-L. Buy one Oracene, get another free. Go to res-q.com now. Stay fueled and fit with Rescue Oracene.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal Company, 8:46 as we continue live on this Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, 855-839-1210. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. We are back up and running. Boy, I tell you what, the second that YouTube does go down, people let us know. Doreen McGettigan said, "What the heck, YouTube Live? I want Nick, Dawn, and Greg back immediately."
It's like back in the day where I want my MTV, I want my Nick, Dawn, and Greg.
That's right. Well, that's a nice little jingle by you.
Thank you.
Look at that. As Greg Stocker once famously said on this show,
in and out of every break, we need to jingle. Time.
And we're coming in from the break, so there you go. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll get to this presidential polling and some of the stuff in Pennsylvania, how it will come down to bellwether counties. Very interesting when you look at the layout of the state. But I just want to wrap up with a couple of funny, hilarious stories in the world of racial absurdity. The Daily Wire had an interview with Ghostbusters actor Ernie Hudson. You might remember him as Winston, a.k.a. the Black Ghostbuster.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
This is an unreal story. So I guess people were kind of trying to make the case that, because by the way, and the reason this is relevant is Ghostbusters is back out in the movies. It came out last week.
Did you see it yet?
I have not. And since there are original cast members, including Aykroyd, Murray, and Ernie Hudson, I will go see it. Because I think the original, I'm not expecting it to be great. It's not going to be the first one. Heck, it won't even be the second one. Should be better, I think, than the all SNL female reboot of 2016, which was atrocious. I was not a huge fan of the last one that came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
I like that one.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. Yeah, it
wasn't bad, but
it was a fun watch.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
But Harold Ramis, who is no longer with us, a.k.a. Egon, obviously not a part of this, but most of the cast is from the original. And Ernie Hudson says that, quote, racism is not to blame. For him, receiving less money and having a smaller part in the latest sequel compared to his co-stars. This is just goes to show you how old Ghostbusters is now. The 78-year-old Ernie Hudson discussed his thoughts during an interview with a British outlet, The Independent, just after Friday's release of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And he goes on to say the following. And I think this is really refreshing. It actually reminds me of Morgan Freeman from 2005 in an interview with Mike Wallace, where he says, the moment we stop referring to each other as a black man or a white man, we can move past all of this racism stuff. It's an epic clip from Morgan Freeman, because I don't think the left ever wants race to go away, or racism for that matter. But Ernie Hudson says, being a person of African descent anywhere in the world, we're all just learning how to live together and get along together and realize that we're all connected. And it's very tempting sometimes to blame anything that doesn't work in your life on racism. But there are a lot of things that play into it. It's not that simple. We can say it's a racial thing, but I think if Eddie Murphy had played the role I had played, he would have been paid very, very well. I think studios are in the business of making money, and they pay what they feel they have to. It's spot on. Whether it's today in the reboot or 40 years ago in the initial Ghostbusters of 1984, if Ernie Hudson didn't get the job and it went to Eddie Murphy, or in a reboot today, Chris Rock. Like Ernie Hudson, with all due respect to Ernie Hudson, he's not a household name.
By the way, that's exactly it.
Right?
It's exactly it. He was the least known person out of that. I mean, you think about Rick Moranis, Sigourney Weaver, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. They're all proven commodities. He was the least known, so of course he was going to get paid less. However, I will say this. I believe, and I'm sure somebody can fact check me on this, okay. I believe because I'm a huge fan of Dan Aykroyd.
Well, who isn't?
I have heard that the original script of Ghostbusters was supposed to be him, John Belushi,
Aykroyd, Belushi,
and Eddie Murphy.
Which actually, if you think about that, how crazy, as great as Ghostbusters is with the cast that made it in '84, imagine what it would have been with Belushi and Murphy.
And I think, to be honest with you, the only reason Eddie Murphy didn't do it is because he got offered more money to be the starring role in Beverly Hills Cop. And John Belushi obviously died.
Right.
So the part of John Belushi actually went to Bill Murray.
So Ghostbusters comes out in '84, and Belushi died in what, '81 or '82?
He died in '82, I believe.
In '82.
Yeah, '82 or '83.
Okay. Wow.
So he was in the midst of writing that script for John Belushi when he died.
Yeah.
And I believe my facts are right on this.
And now, I know we have fact checkers out there. We have a lot of, wannabe Brian Stelter, so we will certainly get corrected on this. But obviously, Aykroyd and Murray, you're talking about original SNL cast members. So we're talking mid-'70s, 1975-ish. So they take off on SNL, and I believe both Aykroyd and Murray probably had some movies pre-Ghostbusters that were successful.
Absolutely.
I'd have to think about like their IMDb page.
No, I mean I can rattle them off.
Rattle off Murray or Aykroyd's top 2 or 3.
Murray did Meatballs. He did a movie where he played Hunter S. Thompson. I think.
What year was Caddyshack?
Caddyshack was 80. So
okay.
He did Caddyshack.
That was in the books already.
He did Meatballs. He did Where the Buffaloes Roam, the Hunter S. Thompson movie. Aykroyd did Blues Brothers.
Yep.
He did a really horrible movie with John Belushi called Neighbors.
Doesn't ring a bell.
And I think he did something else in that. So yeah, they were already household names by that point. They were already making movies.
Yeah.
And Harold Ramis he was in Stripes with. Bill Murray did Stripes too.
Right.
He did Stripes with Bill Murray, and he did. He wrote and directed, I believe, Caddyshack.
Yeah.
So
we just actually passed the 10-year anniversary of Harold Ramis's passing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he passed away in 2014.
Yeah.
Wow. Been 10 years already.
Yeah, but that whole thing where that was like, because it was the 80s, it was, he was the token black guy for Ghostbusters. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not factually accurate.
Right.
And the only reason he was paid less was because he wasn't a household name.
That's correct.
And at least he's saying that.
Oh, of course.
At least he's not trying to be a victim here.
Right, right. And he's 78 years old saying that, which is why I think it's really great for people to actually listen to somebody like Morgan Freeman or Ernie Hudson, who probably have far more of a gripe because they lived through some of this in the 50s or 60s, whereas today's victimhood culture, like, you don't realize how good you have it. You're no victim.
Exactly.
Stop it. All right, so I wanted to get that story, and I thought that was interesting. And once I go to watch Ghostbusters by myself at 1:30 in the afternoon like a creep, I will give you a movie review coming up at some point. All right, final hour is on the way. We'll get to Dawn's Big Three. We've got the morning mystery movie clip. But Pennsylvania, when it comes to the general election, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, it won't be Pittsburgh or Philadelphia that determines whether it's Joe or Trump in the Keystone State. And we've got a good deep dive on that coming up next. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Molly Malloy's Kitchen and Bar is located at Center Court in the historic Reading Terminal Market. Featuring a private bar, diner seating, and a great view of the market scene. Molly Malloy's uses fresh ingredients, like produce from the Iovine brothers, along with other market vendors. Rib cheesesteaks made with center-cut ribeye on seeded Sarcones rolls, fresh biscuits made for breakfast sandwiches, or 35 beers, ciders, and Prosecco on tap. Molly Malloy's in the Reading Terminal Market has a little something for everyone. Go to mollymalloysphilly.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
La 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 la. La, 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 la.
Oops. Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill.
La, 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 la.
Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Hey, I got a question for you. You hate bending over to put on your shoes? Wish you could just put them on standing or sitting without ever having to touch them? If so, then I have the shoe for you. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. With new Skechers Slip-ins, you just step in and off you go. You don't even need to lace up. So how do Skechers Slip-ins work? Well, there's a special smooth comfort pillow in the heel that helps your foot slide right into place. So just step in them and go. Find new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Station WPHT AM, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies at this station. We seek the help of local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Community organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should contact Lisa Morton at WPHT AM by calling 215-234-2400. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit odysseyinc.com/careers for an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Get slimmer for the summer by losing a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company, 9 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. And the 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Wawa. Wawa's new built-to-order wraps are here. It's all the flavor you love, wrapped up and ready to move with your day. Try an Italian or a bacon ranch chicken steak wrap today. Gotta have a Wawa. By the way, full disclosure, total admission here.
What?
I had a Wawa pizza yesterday. I did. So good. It's actually far better than you might anticipate. I'm going to be real. Like, it's legitimately better than some of the other fast food chains out there. Like, I would take a Wawa pizza. If, like, you're taking the mom and pop place out of the equation and you were telling me your options today are Wawa, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's, it's Wawa, and it's not even close.
Really?
I was blown away by it. I got the 14-inch one. It was relatively cheap. It was under like $14. It was like 11-something. And I got to tell you, I housed it like a machine. And I felt bad about myself. Because I did this after putting in 2 miles on the treadmill.
But,
so it was all for nothing.
No, you put... No.
I break even.
You broke even.
But I didn't accomplish anything. That's why I'm very upset this morning. But I got to tell you, and I'm not being paid to say that, Wawa pizza, not bad. All right, let's get to Pennsylvania. I think this is a very interesting story because I think Pennsylvania is going to be decided by an even tighter margin than it was 4 years ago. Certainly Trump took it in 2016. But the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette has a very interesting story written by Selena Zito. And the headline reads, Pennsylvania's presidential vote won't be decided in Philly or Pittsburgh. She starts off by writing the following. Joe Burkhart is busy working at his job as a maintenance manager at a processor here in Cambria County. Like many people who have spent their career working with their hands, he knows that unexpected layoffs in companies who have been around for decades suddenly shuttering their doors is part of today's technological revolution. Like many people here born in the 60s, Burkhart says he was born and raised a Democrat. Quote, everyone in my family was a Democrat. It's just what you did, he said. Adding when he first started looking for work and as an adult, being a Democrat was basically a requirement to get a job. Quote, especially a union job. Then Barack Obama ran for re-election in 2012, and the party went from a coalition that included New Deal Democrats like Burkhart to a, quote, coalition of the ascendant, centered on minorities, the millennial generation, and progressive, college-educated, upscale whites, especially women, a coalition that had its beginnings with Al Gore's candidacy. So she goes on to talk about in this column this transition of what used to be, well, you're a Dem by default to becoming a Republican. And we know that Republicans have made a lot of strides in Pennsylvania, growing registered voters and voting are. She goes on to say, displaced legacy Democrat voters like Burkhart were a big part of the coalition that placed Donald Trump in the winner's circle in Pennsylvania 8 years ago in 2016. The election that year marked the first time a Republican had won our Commonwealth since H.W. Bush in 1988. And then she also talks about a mathematical, I would say genius, a very, very bright numerical whiz kid, Dave Wasserman, who saw this coming in 2016. Wasserman, the senior editor and elections analyst for the Cook Political Report, calculated that Trump needed just 2,000 more votes in 10 or so counties that Mitt Romney won or came close to winning. And even if Hillary Clinton did very well in both Philly and Pittsburgh, even if she won more votes than Obama, which she did significantly in Allegheny County, which is out in Pittsburgh, Trump would still win. She goes on to say, the key to Trump winning then and now was tweaking the margins in existing red counties rather than flipping traditionally blue counties. In 2016, he did that, and he won the state by a little over 44,000 votes. 4 years later, he came up short. Wasserman says Trump could do it again this year. Quote, this change has been coming for almost 30 years. Wasserman crunched Pennsylvania's electoral trends since 1996, and the numbers showed that Pennsylvania has become 0.4% more Republican every cycle. In 1996, 28 of Pennsylvania's 67 counties went for Bill Clinton over Bob Dole. By 2012, just 13 counties went for Barack Obama over Mitt Romney. So they go on to highlight the counties that will matter. Luzerne County, Erie County, a few others, and most notably, probably to this audience, Northampton County, which is Easton and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. For those that are unaware, maybe you live in South Jersey or Delaware, you have no idea where Northampton County is. Go up the Northeast Extension, get off in Allentown, go down about 15 miles, and you have the Lehigh Valley. You have Allentown, which is Lehigh County. Bethlehem is a mix between Lehigh and Northampton County, and then Easton is Northampton County. And I find it very fascinating because I know many people that were traditional Democrats, not hardcore liberal, certainly not progressive, in Northampton County before I moved to Tennessee in 2018. I know many that voted Trump in 2016 merely because they did not want Hillary Clinton. And then conversely, I also know, and I've mentioned my wife's crazy uncle, who's part Bernie Sanders, part Alex Jones. He was one of those guys who voted Trump in 16 because he thinks the Clintons are war criminals. But then he voted Biden in 20. I think it would be very beneficial if you're the Trump campaign. And I know he was just here recently at the NRA in February and, of course, in Philadelphia for the sneaker launch. I wouldn't even, we talk about Joe, how many times he comes to Philly. If I'm Trump and I'm talking about coming to PA, Philly's probably a losing endeavor in all likelihood, right? Like, I think we all realize that. It's a formality. It's not going to go his way. But if you're Trump, dude, get out in Northampton County. Get out in some of these little counties that could actually be the result in you getting Pennsylvania or not. I mean, because there's a lot of people in my neck of the woods where I grew up that voted Trump in 16 that kind of fell off that wagon 4 years later. And now they might have buyer's remorse. There might be people out there that voted Trump once and then voted Biden once, and they're like, man, the last 3.5 years have been painful. Sell me on why I should come back when you had me in 2016. I thought it was an interesting breakdown from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette because we get so enamored with the two anchors, right? It's like being at a mall. You've got like one big anchor store and another big anchor store, but it's the other little stores in between,
Nick.
right?
Dating yourself.
Yeah, you had a Boscov's and a Bonton, but it's the little shops in between, folks.
Those don't exist anymore.
I know. We need to make malls great again.
You are 100% correct, though, about him, Trump, needing to be here more. I don't know why he isn't.
Because he's in court. They got him tied up.
Wow, that's true. Yeah. I mean, but forget just coming to Philadelphia. Like, get out there in the middle of the state in some of these, areas like where this guy's talking about. What was his name? I just said Joe Burkhart. Like the people that were born in the 60s or 70s that just were kind of raised Democrat by default that went the opposite way in 2016. Because, I mean, let's look at it. I mean, Pennsylvania, you're talking 80,000 votes. I think it's more difficult than some are alluding to. Some people are saying Pennsylvania is an easy flip for Trump. I know the polls would suggest that. I don't think that it is in all reality, but I would be out there in Northampton County, Erie County, Luzerne County, all of these, quote, lesser counties.
Yeah, I would concentrate on the Philly suburbs too. I mean, they're very it's very winnable.
Bucks for sure. You should hit up, right?
Yeah.
Especially with everything that's been going on in Bucks County the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Beaver County, Westmoreland County.
Beaver County.
Sorry. 5-year-old.
Beaver. I think it ties into what you were saying yesterday with James Carville when he was talking about the preachy females.
Yes.
And that he seems to be worried about, especially the union vote, the working class vote, working class and middle class people.
Yep.
To your point, Nick.
Right.
That, just the working person, families trying to put food on the table.
Yep. Let's get to Jim. He is in Wilmington. He's got some thoughts this morning on some of the swing states and the polling with Trump. Jim, good morning. How are you?
Very well. And yourself, sir?
We are doing well, sir.
Okay. I saw last night on Fox that in the 5 swing states, and to no surprise, everyone knows that Trump is, leading. But in those 5 swing states, all 5 senators are trailing between 2 and 4 points, and McCormick is trailing by 4 points in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering, you were just going how we have to swing over voters to Republican, and Trump is doing better, but why isn't McCormick doing better? Seems like we got a lot of work to do.
Oh, I think that, to your point, the GOP as a whole has a ton of work to do. You can look at federal, the national polling. You can look at some of these, other races for sure. What I find interesting is looking at the way we are projecting like right now, there's many people that believe Republicans are going to lose the House, but win the Senate. And then you get to the president, and let me just pull up these numbers because this illustrates the point he's talking about. So he said Fox had Trump leading all 5. I've got the Real Clear Politics. They take the polling average for all of these different surveys. Real Clear polling average, Trump right now, swing states, Michigan and Pennsylvania. This is key here. Pennsylvania, Michigan only. Trump is up 3.7 points with the RCP average. Mitchell Research, Trump is up 3. CNN, Trump is up 8. The Hill / Emerson, it is a tie. Quinnipiac, Trump +3. Bloomberg / Morning Consult, Trump +2. Fox News, Trump +2. The Detroit News, Trump is up 8. So those are a few of them. Now, I will share one that's not in his favor. We found this yesterday. The new Susquehanna PR poll of Pennsylvania is out, and it's got Biden up 5 points.
Don't read polls that are not in his favor because people
that's
don't
right.
like that.
YouTube will get mad.
YouTube will get mad.
Right.
How dare you read that poll?
They won't hear the 8 that I gave where Trump is up, but the 9th where Trump is with. So 8 out of 9 will not be enough.
That's dumb.
And if you look at this, I think.
By the way, all these polls are dumb, and I don't believe a single one of them.
No.
Whether they said Trump is up or down, I don't believe any of them.
They've got a breakdown, too, for the one I just mentioned for Susquehanna. You can look at this on Twitter. I retweeted it. In the top left corner of the state, you have a few blue counties. You have Mercer, Forest, Erie, Crawford, and then Allegheny. And then you have to scan all the way across to the right-hand side of the state to get to Bucks, Chester, and Delco that are all blue. Everywhere in between is red. I mean, we're talking Northampton, Lehigh, Berks, Carbon, Monroe, Schuylkill, Lebanon, Dauphin, Montour, Lycoming. I'm working my way from the right-hand side of the state to the center of the state. Lycoming, Cambria, Somerset, Bedford. I mean, right now it looks like Biden has about 9 counties to Trump's probably 40 plus. But still, Trump's still losing in the polling.
Tim Kruger on the YouTube chat writes, it is beyond me that anyone would vote for Creepy Joe. Let me just say this about that, is that they look at you the same way, right? The people who vote for Joe Biden say, I can't believe anybody would vote for Donald Trump. Get that out. So, like, everybody needs to get out of these bubbles where they're like, nobody's voting for Joe Biden or nobody's going to vote for Donald Trump. A lot of people voted for both.
But it is a fascinating, I don't know if this is a contradiction, but, take polls with a grain of salt. We've cited countless polls of how people are fatigued and disinterested in both options, yet turnout is record high.
Yeah.
So to me, yes,
turnout in 2020 was.
Turnout in 20, and
I don't think turnout in 16 was.
No. But do you think turnout in 24 is going to be higher than 20?
I don't.
You don't?
I do not.
Okay. I tend to think right now less people will vote for Joe and more people will vote for Trump. Outcome to the side. I think you're going to see a slight decline in Joe and you're going to see a slight uptick in Trump, which makes it closer. We'll see who wins and all the other factors. But it's interesting. It's almost like people are disinterested in both, but the thought of the other guy winning is the motivating factor for why you vote against. It's not so much that you're voting for Biden, you're voting against Trump. Whereas it's different with Trump. You are voting because you like Trump and you hate Joe. It's not the other. There's no. I really, and this is where I would disagree with you a little bit, Greg. But don't take it too much out of context. I don't think it's that people. How can people vote for Joe? Not because they like Joe, not because they love him, not because he's been successful. They are voting for Joe because they despise the other guy. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not people. I really don't believe there are people out there that like Joe Biden. They just sit there and they say, I don't like the other guy. I hate the orange man.
I would not. Listen, dude, I hear what you're saying, and I tend to agree with you a little bit, but people do like Joe Biden. They do.
I see. That's the thing I don't get.
You guys need to get this. Not you, but like the listeners need to get it out of their head that how can somebody like Joe Biden? That's what got the Democrats. That's how they lost in 2016. Is because Hillary Clinton and all the liberals were like, nobody really likes Trump. How can anybody like Trump? See, but that's not going to happen. And it did.
Here's where I disagree with you on the fact that people like Biden. And now, rally turnouts are not indicators of who's going to win an election. Much like polling is not an indicator, right? Trump can pack a house. Doesn't mean he's going to win, but Trump could fill up 15,000 at a rally. Joe Biden shows up at a local taco spot. He gets 9 people.
I get it, but it's not this. It's different. It's different. You know what I mean? Like people go out to see Trump. Nobody's going out to see Biden, but a lot of people will still vote for him.
Oh, yes. No, I'm not saying they won't vote for him. I'm just saying that they're going to vote for him not because they like him, but because they hate the alternative. Am I making sense when I say that?
Yes.
I hope I am.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. All right. 855-839-1210. We'll come back, get to the morning. Are we doing the big 3 now or after the clip?
After the we should break here.
Okay. Morning mystery movie clip is coming up next, and then we'll get to Dawn's big 3 as we continue live this morning on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Parks Casino, this is how you win. Action, entertainment, great dining, all the excitement only at Parks Casino. Perfect for girls' night out, date night, or happy hour. It's my casino of choice and the official winning partner of your Philadelphia 76ers. 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games, state-of-the-art sportsbook, 150-foot video wall. I love it. And those comfy reclining seats. Perfect for the college hoops tournament, MMA, or baseball. Opening day coming soon. Plus award-winning restaurants, Parks Grill Steakhouse, Liberty Bell Gastropub, Bamboo Noodle House. And see the top headliners coming soon to the Excite Center. The Frontmen, March 29th, Clay Walker, July 13th, and Dylan Scott, August 10th. Comic Nick Swardson from Reno 9/11, April 6th. And America's Top Psychic Medium, Matt Frazier, April 20th. Free parking, valet parking, EV charging stations. For all things Parks Casino, you want to visit parxcasino.com. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Youngsters are sure to smile on Sunday, April 14th when the Phils host the Pirates at 1:35 for Cavity Busters Kids Opening Day. And kids 14 and under receive a sleeveless hoodie. Order tickets now at Phillies.com. Start April the right way with some Phillies baseball when the Reds come to town on Monday, April 1st and Tuesday, April 2nd, both at 6:40, and Wednesday, April 3rd at 1:05. Grab tickets now at Phillies.com.
Your 401k goes up and down. That's fine when you're 40, but not when you're 60. Find out how to protect your hard-earned money. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Debt. If you hate debt as much as we do, listen. Debt. It's one of the biggest problems faced by 77% of Americans. A system called Debt Free for Life is a smart, financially unique solution. Not only does Debt Free for Life, a proprietary system that you can access absolutely free, help our clients pay off their debts years, sometimes decades earlier, it can also save them tens of thousands of dollars in interest, build their wealth at the same time, and it does it all tax-free. Find out more now. Go to jmlfinancialgroup.com to get your free report on Debt Free for Life, or call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group at 856-751-1771. Remember, access to Debt Free for Life is absolutely free. Check it out now at jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Dom Giordano at noon. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 922. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Looks like another beautiful day in the Delaware Valley. Dawn's Big Three coming up in just a moment. We've got What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 also on the way. But right now, speaking of movies and cinema, it's time for our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Anyways, we thought we'd call y'all to see what you got.
Yeah, we know you can talk to the press and sign autographs and stuff.
We can do more than that.
Oh, yeah? Well, we can teach y'all to play like the real Team USA.
Yeah, what would you know about it?
gotta earn every inch.
Back again. Check it, directed, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me get some noise. DC's in the house, jump, rejoice. There's a party over here, a party over there.
Hey, ain't no whistles out here either. You keep digging until you score that goal.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
And I believe in that movie, Stalker was originally casted to be one of the Bash Brothers, but he turned it down. Today's prize is a pair of tickets to Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnic with Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, Alison Krauss, Maren Morris, Mavis Staples, and more at the Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets go on sale 10 a.m. this Friday, March 29th at Ticketmaster.com. Caller 12-855-839-1210.
That prize screams me, doesn't it?
It does. You would have been great in this movie, by the way.
Okay.
I could totally see you that.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
God. You being honest? You've never seen the clip we just played?
I've never seen the movie, no.
So do you have any idea what this is?
Of course I know what it is,
okay,
but
so you saw the email.
I've never,
okay.
I've never seen the movie.
I think it's relatively easy. We'll find out. 855-839-1210.
Judging by the phones, it doesn't look super easy, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it is it's not one of the most notable clips of the film. I'll give you that much.
Okay.
All right. Let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9:25.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 9, sponsored by Anderson Mechanical Corporation. Thank you, AMC, on this sunny Tuesday, heading up to 54 degrees. We're waiting a live news conference update on that bridge collapse in Baltimore. Two people recovered from the water. They're still searching for at least 7 people. There is another report that continues that they have to consider that as many as 20 people may be trapped in vehicles beneath this river in the port of Baltimore. Wow. So you have an active search and rescue. They're still calling it search and rescue. And as well this morning, the developing tragic story, word of a 31-year-old NYPD policeman shot and killed by a career criminal during a traffic stop in Queens happened last night. They're calling it a senseless act of violence. And he's identified as 31-year-old officer Jonathan Diller, married daddy of a 1-year-old little boy, shot in the stomach after police tried to remove that suspect, ID'd as a 34-year-old man identified as Guy Rivera, from the passenger seat of a car. And this guy is a repeat offender, long criminal rap sheet, arrested and released more than 21 times.
Yeah, another guy that shouldn't be on the street, another guy that benefits from this absurd bail reform and this criminal justice reform, and now we have an officer dead.
It's tragic.
Way to go, Democrats.
And number 3, this morning, all eyes on SCOTUS, the Supreme Court's case over access to the abortion drug known as mifepristone. It could upend the way the FDA broadly regulates medicines and other products. And so courts, for many years, giving the FDA a lot of rope, a lot of leeway to make judgments about health and safety. This puts that into question, but also it could have other ramifications as far as those generic drugs, because the FDA decides which drugs can go generic as well. So watching this important SCOTUS case, as that's one of the, as well as January 6 cases, there's another one too.
By the way, whatever way this this abortion pill ruling goes from the Supreme Court, if it's overturned, or I believe that's the end for the Republicans in the 2024 election.
Wow, you're calling it already?
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be decided, I'm guessing, until the summer, right, Dawn?
Right.
Yes. And the reason Greg's saying that is that more than half, maybe 56%.
I just saw 60%.
60%
Yep.
of this procedure is not actually a procedure in a clinic. It's a pill prescribed and sometimes that comes in the mail.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, to Greg's point, would it mean that another drug would emerge or what? And this is Pennsylvania. We just had the, with birth control pills, no longer is a prescription needed.
Yep. And
on
by
a
the
separate issue.
And by the way, that's this pill is the majority of the way abortions are performed.
Mhm.
It's like it's over half.
Yeah.
So, it's if they rule, it's over for the GOP.
I mean, they haven't won since the summer of 2022.
Yep,
So
you're exactly right.
I don't think you're out of line by making that prognostication at all.
So, Supreme Court of the United States, watching them very carefully. We are sponsored this morning by Anderson Mechanical Corporation. They are the people to call to make sure your home's all ready to keep cool this summer. Just call them today. Schedule a spring tune-up at an awesome discount. Visit our friends at AMC on the web, amcontheweb.com. amcontheweb.com. Thank you for sponsoring our Big Three.
All right, thank you very much, Dawn. We have Greg in the Northeast. He is our morning mystery movie clip winner this morning. Greg, I thought that was pretty easy. Stocker didn't know it. The other Greg didn't know it. Your thoughts on the movie clip? What movie did we just play for you, sir?
It was number 2, Mighty Ducks 2.
That is correct. Ducks 2, Gordon Bombay.
Yeah, everybody knew what it was. All you had to do was listen to who was speaking. One of the actors, if you've seen the movie, then you knew who it was.
Correct.
So I can't believe they didn't get it.
That's
Cannot believe they
unbelievable.
get it.
Well, Greg, you did get it, and you've got the pair of tickets to Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnic.
Nice.
Thank you. I'll be looking for Stocker in the stands, firing one up with him. I'm sure he is.
There
That's
is
awesome.
Greg in the Northeast. Let me grab Mike in Harleysville. He's actually a Joe Biden voter, and he's going to tell us why he is voting for and supporting the big guy. Mike, good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you? Can you hear me?
We can hear you well. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. Biden governs. Biden passes laws that help the U.S. economy and help our lives. And he's fighting against a huge propaganda machine of negativism. And the negativism is, well, TV and radio propaganda. You guys are right there, smack dab in the middle of it. So what do you say?
So let me ask you, you said media propaganda, and he's fighting against the machine. Are you aware of the machine
your
that
machine.
works? No. We're a small machine. The machine. If we're ranking
No,
the
you're
machines,
a big machine. You're a big machine.
well, if we're
You're
ranking the
connected to
machines,
many
Mike, we're
radio-
looking at mainstream media versus what we do here on this station. You do realize you have like an 8-to-1 or a 10-to-1 media advantage, right?
Well, you have to realize you're part of a large conglomerate of hundreds of radio stations around the country. I travel a lot that pound all these negative themes. Like, sure, Joe Biden's an older man. He's, 80, 81?
Mm-hmm.
But he does his job. We need a president that
Mike,
does
let me
his
ask you
job
something. What
instead of
exactly
causing
does he
chaos.
do? Let me ask you. So you said about the thriving
passes
economy.
laws.
No, but no,
Exactly.
you said the economy's great. So tell me what's so great about this economy, and don't give me the stock market because that's not an indicator.
Our GDP indicators are high and strong.
What's your grocery bill look like, Mike? How much does it
looks
cost to
real
fill up your
good.
car?
Greater than 2%.
What does it cost to heat and cool your home these days?
For
I'm
me,
wondering from you
personally,
because you're the one who's telling me Biden's
about
economy is so good.
$250 a month. What?
Well,
I said
Mike,
$250 a month.
Mike, to listen, you have to stop talking. So you would hear me if you didn't keep interrupting me. So I'm curious, what makes Joe so good? The economy, we've cleared that up. What about the border? How's the border look, Mike?
Border situation is horrible.
Okay, and whose fault is that?
I agree on the border.
Is that Trump's fault or Biden's fault?
It's neither's fault.
It's neither's fault.
We have to come together in the Congress. It's the American voters who will not put people in who
Mike,
will vote
your guy undid 100 executive actions of Trump with the stroke of a pen. It's not both people's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault. Joe Biden's vice president has been to the border as many times as I've been to Neptune. But thank you for the call, Mike. 855-839-1210. All right, let's get to, we breaking or we're doing the cut sheet?
Break, yeah.
All right, we'll get to what's on the cut sheet part 2 when we come back. Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. Tourney time is here. Mike Valeni and I are going through every matchup of the big dance over on the podcast. We're talking sides, totals, mix in a reckless parlay every now and then. Come on, it's fun. We've got tourney trends, futures plays, who wins the national title, something for every bettor and every sports fan. Region by region, game by game, however you want to digest it, it's there. Download Cash the Ticket today. It's on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, an XC40 can be leased for as low as $459 and an XC90 leased for as low as $629. Interest rates are as low as 4%. Along with Volvo-sponsored incentives, the Cherry Hill Volvo offers are very aggressive. When purchasing or leasing a new Cherry Hill Volvo, special additional incentives will be given. Spring into Cherry Hill Volvo now for these incredibly fabulous offers.
I'm Bill, and I'm living with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a type of interstitial lung disease that causes scarring of the lungs and makes it hard to breathe. ILD can be hard to diagnose, so if you're out of breath with a constant dry cough, ask a pulmonologist if it could be ILD. My wife Bev and I have walked every step of this journey together. I couldn't have traveled this road alone, and neither should you. Get help, find hope. Go to lungsandyou.com.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer or undergoing treatments that cause severe fatigue or brain fog, medical hydration may be right for you. Dr. Molly Fantasia of Innovative Medical Associates has more than 30 years' experience in helping cancer patients to improve their quality of life.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Nutrients delivered right to the cells support your immune system through surgery, chemotherapy, or wherever you may be on your cancer journey. Visit innovativemedicalassociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and more.
Hello, America. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you don't have Consumer Cellular yet, now is the perfect time to switch and save. For a limited time, new customers can get wireless service for as low as $15 a month for your first year. Yep, the same exact nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for $15 a month for an entire year. What are you waiting for? Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and use code RADIO15.
See consumercellular.com/firstyear15 for promotional details.
You've heard it said, he's a diamond in the rough. Or maybe, diamonds are forever. Here's something else I've learned about diamonds. They're just pieces of coal put under pressure for a long, long, long time. So when I start feeling like I want to give up, I think about that little piece of coal. And if that piece of coal can make something of itself by not giving up, so can I. Persistence is in you. From PassItOn.com.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code EARN.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company, 9:39. It is a Tuesday morning. Coming up tomorrow, Tony Bruno live from Florida at 8:30. And also confirmed for Thursday at 9 o'clock, our buddy Sean Farish.
Wow.
Looking forward to those 2 days. Always good to get our normal ensemble of contributors together for a few days. Looking forward to that. Tony will be all ready for baseball. He'll be in his Harry Kalas mode. He's been in Harry Kalas mode since early February, since football came to a close. So looking forward to Bruno tomorrow and our buddy Sean, a.k.a. Donald Trump, on Thursday. Let's get to Greg Stocker's What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. We've been updating you all morning on this this bridge collapse that happened in Baltimore in the early mornings of Tuesday this morning at about 1:30, playing press conferences and all kinds of stuff. The Baltimore mayor was on CNN this morning, and he's pleading for news networks to quit showing the bridge disaster video over and over again.
You know, I used to have this fight with sports fans back in the day when networks would show horrific injuries over and over. Like, oh my God, he landed on his head. He probably broke his neck. Can we stop showing it? I always feel like I give the benefit of the doubt to the network as a news entity to show what is pertinent news.
I agree with you. Dawn, your thoughts on us playing on news networks playing the bridge collapse?
What that tells me is that they know there are mass casualties here. That's what that tells me.
That's a good point.
If they thought everybody was going to survive, then
it
would be different. And so unfortunately, we're now looking at, it's now 9:40. This happened at about 1:40 a.m.
8 hours.
In frigid, who could survive even if you had an air pocket in the vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
They've identified the vehicles with the sonar and what have you. They know that they're down there, but now we're looking at all these hours in, what did they say, 40, at most 47, 48 degree water?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Here's the Baltimore mayor earlier this morning on CNN. Cut 19, Phil, go.
I want to get us to Mayor Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore, who is with us right now on the phone. Mayor Scott, first of all, I just want to say that I am so sorry that your community is going through this right now and that there are families wondering and worrying about their loved ones at this hour. Can you tell me so far what you know about exactly what happened here to the Francis Scott Key Bridge?
Well, listen, we have an unspeakable tragedy. We know that this vessel struck the bridge and the bridge collapsed. There were individuals working on the bridge at that time. There are cars in the water. Our fire department has confirmed that as they lead this ongoing search and rescue mission through sonar. That is where our focus is. It's about those souls and people that we're trying to find and get out of this water. We know that there's going to be questions about the bridge and traffic and the port, but right now everyone in this world's focus should be about these souls and those families who are wondering if these people are going to walk back in the door after they walked out to work last night.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The anxiety of all this, and then plus just watching the video of what happened and how quickly the bridge failed. Can you give me some sense of what you thought at first light this morning when you saw the pictures of actually what that bridge looks like with the barge slammed into it there? What were your initial thoughts?
Well, it was something out of an action movie. It's something you never think you would see. And being here right now, looking at it, is even more surreal. And it just makes you think about, again, those families, those individuals that were on that bridge, those folks that even on that vessel, even more, because no one should have to endure. And I'm going to be the first to ask that CNN and everyone else stop showing the video. No one needs to see a possibility of their family member being severely injured or otherwise over and over and over again, because it's just traumatizing our community.
Yeah, I mean, I would disagree totally. I think it's the media's right to show that. Obviously, we live in a news cycle that people are, and we live in a world where people are always tuning in and tuning out. So somebody might be tuning in at 9:40 for the first time this morning. No idea
100%.
what happened.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yep, you're 100% correct.
Yeah, but once you get the request and once they find out, they start pulling bodies out, if that's what's going to happen here, you look like a total jerk and insensitive. And so you'll see TV stations, what they're going to do is they'll freeze it. They'll freeze it at the point the barge hits, and they'll start altering that video and say that out of sensitivity, if he's asking, if the community's asking that, then you have to weigh that.
Do you agree with that approach?
But in part, I'll bet you that local stations are already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the national stations, I think that the idea is you don't want wallpaper video. Remember after 9/11, when at some point they said, please don't show the plane. And so they would show the plane go toward the building and they would freeze it. Remember that?
Yep.
You'll see the same thing, I believe, happen here, especially for their local stations.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. I feel like I understand it. Like, if you're a family member who's waiting to hear about your loved one, it's awful. But it's a huge news story, and it's a bridge collapsing. It's not like it's somebody getting their head blown off.
Well,
you know
it's
what I
funny
mean?
you say that, because I was just going to bring up the story in Bucks County of the video that was on social media for a few hours. Remember that guy that beheaded his dad? Yes. Who we talked about a couple of months ago? Like, I understand why videos like that are taken down.
Yeah.
But stuff like this.
Yeah, it doesn't show anything. Like, it doesn't show death.
A wide shot. Again, it'll be the local stations because that's a local community. But there is a reason that you show this, and especially if you're interviewing an expert who's explaining what happened, that they had some kind of an engine failure. So I think if you are airing it and you're showing it and there's a purpose to it other than just airing something for sensational, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, that'll do it for part 2 of the Cut Sheet. We'll come back, find out what Dawn has on tap for her show today in music history, and who won Twitter today. It's a trifecta of today when we come back. Kayal and Company, stay right there.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, lets you bet on every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one-seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Now, you'll really like the FanDuel app. Right now, new customers, you get $200 in bonus bet if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M. Bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Steamfitters Local Union 420 is a proud 120-year-old labor organization. We have been providing the petrochemical, nuclear, and energy industry with the safest and most highly skilled steamfitters, welders, and HVAC service techs. Our members have been trained in all aspects of the petrochemical, nuclear, and energy industry so that our welding and rigging procedures exceed the industry standard. Contact Steamfitters Local Union 420 for all of your energy-related needs and visit our website for more information at lu420.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
As an educator, Mr. Nelson's teachings are still being quoted in schools.
Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world.
Mr. Nelson taught hope.
Everyone can rise above their circumstances if they are dedicated and passionate.
And giving our best efforts.
It's always impossible until it's done.
Mr. Nelson Mandela's teachings not only united a nation, they inspire us today. Inspiration. Pass it on from passiton.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, an XC40 can be leased for as low as $459 and an XC90 leased for as low as $629. Interest rates are as low as 4%. Along with Volvo-sponsored incentives, the Cherry Hill Volvo offers are very aggressive. When purchasing or leasing a new Cherry Hill Volvo, special additional incentives will be given. Spring into Cherry Hill Volvo now for these incredibly fabulous offers.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
I want my Nick, Tony, Greg. What the hell is that? Oh my God.
9:50. It is Kayal and Company. Some refer to it as Nick, Dawn, and Greg.
I want my Nick, Tony, Greg.
It was Greg Stocker singing.
Unbelievable.
As we continue, not a request of mine. Jim just took it on his own volition to add
It's
that.
unbelievable.
So I figured I would entertain him.
By the way.
And it's on the board.
Thank you for that, by the way. By the way, NBC Brass is expected today to determine the fate of Rona McDaniel. She's done. She's absolutely out.
You cowards. You
Wow.
little weasels
That is
allowing your talent to dictate your decision.
Yeah.
There's been no official. They're meeting today, but
They do this, though.
I'm guessing that she's out.
They are wusses.
Yes. We don't want differing points of view.
By the way, Ryan Priebus, who is the head of the RNC, is a contributor at MSNBC. Michael Steele, who is the head of the RNC, is a contributor at MSNBC. This is effing ridiculous.
It is.
It really is.
Wow.
Well, it's either this. I think the edict is either she comes out against Trump or she gets canned.
Yeah, because those two individuals that I just named are
Never
against Trump.
Trumpers.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, if I'm CNN, I swoop in and hire Rona McDaniel. Or if I'm Fox News, I hire Rona I make MSNBC look like fools, is what I do.
Yep.
And I'm no fan of Rona McDaniel, but come on, give me a break.
Well, I hope that she just gets the money. Just sue him for whatever her contract is.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe Elon Musk will hire her to do a show on X and then not pay her. All right, let's get to what's on tap for the Dawn Show, just 7.5 minutes out.
Yeah, so we're awaiting the latest news conference, multiple news conferences as far as what's happening in Baltimore. They may have an update for us. And for the young, only 3 years on the job, policeman, NYPD officer, no doubt, here in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all these officers, they will attend this funeral because there's such a brotherhood, sisterhood, and camaraderie among our and support of law enforcement and at the hands of a career criminal. So we got all that covered for you. We'll give you all those live updates. We have Anthony Hennon, PA Center Square, talking about looking at Pennsylvania and why an election in our region may, in fact, have huge ramifications for the nation in the upcoming presidential, contest, as we say, the campaign. So we'll look at that one very carefully. And as well, the Supreme Court, looking at all of these different Supreme Court decisions, including J6 and the abortion pill, what it really means for the upcoming election. We're going to look at all of that and so much more.
Supreme Court with a lot on their plate these next couple of months before they break for the summer.
So true.
All right, let's get to Today in Music History.
What happened on this day in music history? Music history on Kayal and Company.
Today, March 26th, we celebrate the birthdays of Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, Fran Sheehan, the bassist for Boston, and Diana Ross. We also lost Jan Berry of Jan and Dean on this day in 2004. And from out of left field, Ludwig van Beethoven in 1827. Notable singles include Daniel by Elton John in 73 and Feels Like the First Time by Foreigner in 77. Albums include Thin Lizzy's Jailbreak as well as Wings, The Speed of Sound by Wings from 1976. Van Halen's Women and Children First was in 80 and Heart's Brigade was in 90. Also, Rich Girl hit number 1 by Hall & Oates in 77. Soundgarden Super Unknown also hit number 1 on this day in 94. And lastly, on this day in 85, radio stations in South Africa banned all Stevie Wonder records after he dedicated an Oscar win the night before to Nelson Mandela.
Wow.
For Kayal and Company, I'm Phil Lomquist.
Another band I can't get behind. Unbelievable. And by the way, Beethoven died 197 years ago today.
Love it.
That's very interesting. The more you listen, the more you know. All right, that'll do it for us. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is coming up next. We're back tomorrow morning at 6. Bruno at 8:30. Until then.
Good night, everybody.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at renofi.com/notices. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
John, I'm putting my foot down. We can't put